Hey. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 212 of SEO this week. It's actually 213, but 212 didn't record last week, so we're going to do it again. I don't know what happened. Google or YouTube is messing with me. Let me make sure that everything is hunky-dory. It says I'm streaming. Sounds like I'm streaming. So we're going to assume that I am streaming. Sweet. As the new feature of the show, if you want to call in, it's 888-586-1680. 888-586-1680. And you can get a hold of me here. As a matter of fact, let me do this. Here you go. Watch this. The magic. There you go. Yeah. Sweet. 888-586-1680. You can call me on the cell phone. Heck yep. We have a nice conversation to answer your questions about SEO. And it doesn't have to be SEO specific. Actually, you can call about any questions you have in relation to digital marketing, business intelligence, public relations. I'd probably be able to hook you up with some kind of answer. I don't know if it'll be the right one, but it'll be one. And I appreciate that. I also have the live chat features. If you want to, you can chat in Facebook, YouTube, or Periscope. Periscope, obviously, you can't chat. But if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, hit the live chat session, and then we will be able to connect, which is awesome. So in the meantime, I'm waiting to see if anyone calls in or sends questions. I want to just go on a little bit of a ramble. Hope you guys don't mind. I can't imagine you guys don't mind, but I hope you don't mind. Anyway, the Google released another message today saying that they're releasing another update. And it's kind of interesting because we've kind of been in a back-to-back update season, right? So you had the product update, and then supposedly July was the Core Web Vitals update, and that rolled out in 2 iterations. And then there was the spam update that supposedly ran out in 2 iterations, and now there's another update about spam. Apparently, this one's supposed to go after link spam. At least that's the theory that they're professing. So I'm going to kind of walk you through some stuff here, and then you guys can decide if I'm nuts or not, or maybe I'm just wearing a tinfoil hat, as it were. You see if you kind of see the same thing that I'm looking at, that I see, right? So in order to do that, we have to tell a little bit of story. So I'll show you the screen, and you can see this article. Not necessarily, you don't have to read it. You can just see the titles, right? So, and it's good enough. So basically what happened, if you kind of think back, let's go back a little bit of history. Google was building its products and its services on the backs of affiliates. So the Google search engine came out. Some people adapted it. Obviously, it was better than Alta Vista, Excite, etc. And users kept using it more. And they needed to monetize it because it was expensive. And they came out with the Google Ads program, Google AdWords back then. And AdWords back then was primarily embraced by the affiliate space. And these are internet marketers or online marketers who like testing new things, like testing new technologies and stuff. And essentially they said, hey, Google AdWords, let's fill out these ads. They're really cheap clips, and we're going to get some decent information or decent traffic out of this, and perpetually some sales and stuff. And those ad programs, that ad program actually took off. It did pretty well. And it was doing so well that affiliates were actually creating courses and ads to fill in ads. And I don't know if any of you remember these things. It was the fill out a survey, and then you'll get paid. And those surveys were fill out the Google Ads platform, drop in this ad, and then put your affiliate link in, and then you'll get paid for making the affiliate sale. Well, as the popularity of AdWords got carried over into the small business market, it became more reputable, and in such as they became reputable because the affiliates proved it worked. Now they're able to sell it to small and large businesses. So they don't need the affiliates anymore, and they kick them to the curb. And that's what happened with Google AdWords. So if you were running AdWords stuff back then, and then to affiliate offers, you got crushed. And it's not so bad today. It's just your offers have to be a little bit more qualified. Your landing pages have to be better, et cetera, in order to be able to pull that off. So it's not to say that no affiliates are doing it, but a lot of affiliates are making a good amount of money on AdWords. Lost it because of that change. And it's kind of happening with search now. So, and here's what I mean. So, you're doing a lot of trend finding when you're doing affiliate stuff. In particular, if you're not an affiliate for specific things, like if you don't have a survival blog and you're only doing survival stuff, typically you end up being a trend finder, and those trend finders are finding things that we now consider as kind of the standard for affiliate stuff. So X product review, X product bonus, X product scam, X product compared, top 10 X product, best X products. Those are all market research things that ultimately it was affiliates that figured out. And then the brands kind of carried it over. The bigger brands took over that thing, and then the affiliates kind of have to move on. Right now, we're still at the point where best of type content is kind of winning the day. Google's figured it out. Top 10's figured it out, right? So top 10, it gets some little bit of traffic, but you do the best of drones, best of digital cameras, best best lawnmower, best chainsaw. Those types of searches can get monetized really well by affiliates, and if you rank for them. And one organization that paid attention to that highly was Google. And there's actually another blog, and I couldn't find it before the show, announcing that Google was going to get into the best of game. And I talked about this on an episode of SEO this week, and where I thought it was going. And as we continue to see the progression of it, perhaps you guys will see the same thing as me. So they said, hey, we're doing the best of. We're going to take snippets from the best review sites, and then we're going to link directly to the product. So what that indirectly said to everyone was, hey, affiliates, we're going to take your content. We're going to create a featured snippet that gives the best reviews of said product, and then we're going to link directly to the product and essentially cut you out of your affiliate commission, and then taking that money using your own content, right? Which was, from that perspective, if you think of it that way, it's kind of a dick move, right? But that's what they were going to do. And then they started publishing these better product information, how to do better product information for shoppers, type releases in their blog. This one was February 26, 2021. I believe the best of announcement was actually like right before this came out. And I was actively talking about it then and going, hey, affiliates, watch out, because Google's coming after you. Now the next thing that they did was actually release the Google product reviews update. And if anyone has not put 1 and 2 together, or 1 and 1 together and equal 2 at this point, what's wrong with you, right? But they announced that thing. They said, hey, we're going to take your content and use that as a feature snippet and send directly to the product. And then they announced the Google product reviews update. And what the Google product reviews update did was actually, it was more on-page stuff. It was a little bit harder to see this because they were releasing a whole bunch of stuff at once, right? So I haven't even done my befores and after from post or pre-product review update to now because they're still thinking with things. But this Thursday, when we do the SIA thing, I'll come up with my conclusions and specific niches and see what they changed. But in this case, they were actually looking for, the weak pages, pages that weren't necessarily, that were like copying product descriptions and all that stuff. They went after them and they found them. I would argue that they were actually pretty good at it. Google's getting better at kind of figuring out the duplicate stuff. And not so much as duplicate content in the way that SEOs would think of it, but literally using the same product description. So they, bouncing the manufacturer off of the affiliate and it has the same thing. And then, there's 50 affiliate sites and they all have the same thing, that kind of stuff. They're getting a little better than that. They're not great by any means. As long as Kyle Roof's Lorem Ipsum pages are still ranking number 1 in a couple of markets that I know that are still up, and I check those before and after every update. As long as they're still there, I know that Google's not actually reading content. But they're getting a little bit better with this. And the reason they want to get better with identifying this product review stuff is it's hard to convert someone if you have junk, and you don't want to highlight junk in your product review best of featured snippet that you're getting ready to release because it's not valuable. And if it's not valuable, people are not going to click on it. And if people don't click on it, you as a business are not going to be able to monetize it later to the product owners directly. So that would be step 3 of kicking you out of being an affiliate for products, is by Google saying, if you want to buy said product, just buy it with our affiliate link. Essentially what they're going to do, and their affiliate link is going to be paid ad inside of that featured snippet for the actual product owner, and kind of save you or save them a little bit of money because they don't have to pay you 25 to 50% commission depending on what you're doing. And so in order to accomplish that, they got to get the content clean, and that's why they specifically did a product reviews update. And then today they announced that they're doing it's a release. Supposedly it's a release, and supposedly what they're doing is going after affiliate links. I can tell you right now that this has already been out. It has been out, it's been in the live, and it's been in the wild for at least 2 months now. And we've proven that inadvertently by doing some tests to see if Google was penalizing affiliate links. And I guess I don't want to get too far ahead, but basically what this is saying is, one, if you have affiliate links on your site, you need to put sponsored. They need to be sponsored. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And they actually threaten you with manual review. And they can't tell you do this and then there not be a repercussion for it. So they're going to say, hey, we may issue manual actions against you. And that's pretty much going to happen every time they release one of these. Do this or we might give you manual action. I would bet you that if you're if you have an affiliate site that's doing really, really good right now, you better get your butts over to your affiliate site and switch these over to Rel Sponsored, because if they're in markets that Google knows that they can monetize soon, they're going to start sending their manual reviewers over there to make sure things are working right, and they're going to start looking at these. From an SEO perspective, switching these over to Rel Sponsored hurts you none from an SEO affiliate perspective. Stick with me, though. It's going to close the loop here pretty soon. So go ahead and do that. Also in this post, we're talking about, they threw in some links in here. Post sponsored by and authored by. We have to test those out, but are some other phrase words that they specifically are looking for that reduce the rankings of a page because you have that on there. And like if I had, I don't remember that too offhand, but just percentage says guest post, right? We did multiple tests, but we did two tests that came out positive where these phrases actually reduced the ranking of the page that it was on. It didn't, and this page sent a link to another page, and that didn't affect that page. It reduced the rank of this page. And that kind of goes to a theory that I have, is that Google is not necessarily looking at links. Like, they talk about links all the time, and we've all heard it. Google filters your links. Google filters your links. What I actually think that they're doing now, based off of this post and the video that I shared in my groups a while ago that Google spam team did, is the search podcast. It's like it's a couple episodes ago. You guys should still be able to find it. But the spam team was on there, and he talked about on-page spam. And everything that he said and everything that's in this section right here kind of reiterates to me that if you have a crappy site, if you have a site that is allowing a whole bunch of links. If you have a forum that's offering a whole bunch of links, if you have a website that sells links, and that's its model, right? I have this website and I sell links on it. Those sites are actually being devalued, which is essentially nullifying the links where they're going. So your links are not getting filtered out. You are experiencing what we call link decay. So you have the links there. Google finds a site and goes, yeah, this is junk, and they devalue that website. So all the links are still there. They don't work anymore. Ergo, now you've lost that link. You've lost credit for it, so you've experienced link decay. And this is kind of going along that too. We're going to test these authored by and post sponsored by. We're going to set those up for next month. I wish I could do it faster, but it's going to be for next month. And we're going to see if these two, I'm pretty sure they just gave us 2 more filters. So we'll have 4 now, where the math is taught to look for these 2 specific phrases. And it may or may not, if it's consistent with the other tests, it probably will demote this page automatically because these words are on there. And we'll have to test this as a third test, probably 3 and 4, is by adding Rel Sponsored on here, does that change the value because of those are there? Or are these some phrases that you just don't want on your sites if that's how you want to monetize your websites? So it's all very interesting. All right, so let's close the loop, or let's recap. Pre this message, Google announced the best of, and then they said, here's how to write your product reviews. And then they said, here, we're doing the product review update. And here they said, make all your sponsored links, make all your links sponsored. Why would they do that? So 1, clean up your reviews, pick good reviews. And then 2, make all your links sponsored, which in turn will drop the ranking of the original products that were the product owner's websites that you are linking to, in order to force them to buy ads on their new best of products featured snippet. That's all one big circle. They're getting you, because at the end of the day, let's think about it. Let's say we do affiliate links and we do no follow under the old no follow rule, those aren't supposed to pass juice. And what does it matter? Well, we know from testing and we know from practical experience for years now that no follow has been passing juice. We know from testing that sponsored is one of the new rels that actually does not. Like, I can link all day long with sponsored and it won't move the needle. I can link all day long with no follow. I can link all day long with UGC. I can leave it a do follow link and it'll move the needle. If I use no follow or sponsored, I know it won't move the needle. So now they're forcing you to turn your affiliate links, your affiliate links into sponsored, which drops the linking power to the product pages that you are linking to as an affiliate, thus reducing or creating link decay for these original product owners, which will thus, with the idea of actually getting them to buy ads to promote their products versus using an affiliate program. Because affiliate programs are probably more expensive, 25 to 50% of the market, depending on the program, versus a PPC ad, which maybe costs you, well, in that case, you're talking about clicks, so the math can get a little bit funny. But if I pay $150 to an affiliate and it costs me $25 cost per customer using PPC, why wouldn't I use PPC, right? And now you have made it so that I lost all my rankings, so my affiliates are more expensive, and I got to get above my affiliates because I'm losing, I'm walking away from 50% of my market share, so I'm going to do the affiliate stuff, so now I got to buy ads. And it's all this great big circle. So tell me, what do you guys think? Am I crazy, or am I on the right track? I personally think I'm a genius at this point, and I think that I'm probably on the right track. But I don't want to be too ahead of myself there. It sounds a little tinfoil hatty, and I'm not. You guys have been watching me long enough, I'm not tinfoil hatty. But this sounds tinfoil hatty. But I think this dog's got legs, and right now they're running with it. So we'll see how this plays out. But as when that featured snippet shows up, the best of shows up, and then the ads block shows up, remember this episode so that you can tell your friends that I was the first one that caught on to these clowns. In regards to this, I'm going to give you guys some testing stuff from SIA that, obviously we don't share this stuff very much, but we tested Amazon affiliate links. And that's how I know that this is already out. We tested Amazon affiliate links. And if you have an Amazon affiliate site, you need to get your butts over there today and switch those to rel sponsored. And I bet you're going to see your rankings go up, because the Amazon links, specifically Amazon, we tested a bunch of different affiliate links, but specifically Amazon links actually reduce the ranking of the page by them being on your websites. So go over there and switch them to rel sponsored and see what happens. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. You're not going to go up from 10 to 1, but you're going to make it a little bit easier on yourselves. So I would do that. Do not pass go as soon as the show's over. Or you can listen to me in the background. That's fine. Get over there and switch those to rel sponsored and do it quickly. And as you see, you got to do it on everything. So if you got one of those, the roll-ups or specific product pages, or like I built a WooCommerce site with Amazon stuff and it had the actual buy buttons and all that stuff, and then it went over to Amazon. If any of those Amazon links, get them switched over to rel sponsored. It's Amazon, so we're not necessarily worried about them getting hurt. In regards to losing link equity. I mean, they're a gajillion-dollar company anyway, so, and I don't know about you, but I always just go to Amazon anyway. Um, in regards to the other ones, I have always used Pretty Links for my affiliate stuff, and either set it to 301 or 302 or to cloak the link. And I've never had any issues doing that. So it just kind of is the first glance, the first pass. Google sees the HTML. It's just another link on my website that 301s. And I haven't specifically tested that or not, but I think it'd be a good way to, deal with this affiliate thing. If you have buddies that are running affiliate offers and you want to pass on the link juice and you want to make this a good reciprocal relationship, use something like Pretty Links, get the 301, the pushover, and then use no follow. The no follow is a hint that's still going to pass link juice and you're not hurting them, but you've met the standard of Google guidelines. Unless they actually specifically go out there and just find every affiliate program they want and look for sponsored, which I think if you got a mini affiliate site or one of the, you know what I mean, you're going to be all right. But if you got a heavy hitter affiliate site, you need to start using the Rail sponsored. Alrighty. So that's my tinfoil hat. I'd like to hear what you guys have in the comments. Just let me know. Otherwise, you can leave it. Yeah, leave it in the comments after if you're looking at the recording. Otherwise, we'll chat it up, the things that we got here. Let me see. Terry Samuels says it makes sense. Everhard, I feel like every step they take is to make more money. Yep, I think so. It's a business. You kind of expect that, right? Christopher, very interesting, but makes me even more depressed about link building than I was before. Honestly, I've told you guys all before. I will teach you link building tools. I will teach you how to use X, Y, and Z, but I won't teach you strategy. But I can tell you this: I'm still ranking with GSA, Search Engine Ranker, and everyone says that thing is done, is worthless. But I'm still ranking pages with it. So don't let link building mess with you. It's actually where the real fun of SEO is, because you get to bang and push buttons and mess around, and you're not putting your business necessarily at risk, especially if you're filtering through good tier ones. And you can actually play and you can learn something about what Google's doing. Let's see, Brian, you're bang on with Google's manipulation to drive people with ads. It's the same thing that 10 years ago when they were changing in 2012. Yep, is exactly the same. It's continuing. And there's just a new group of people doing it, and this is how they moneyed it. And I think, and here's why. There's a lot of, I'll say millennials, but millennials kind of have we don't want to work for the man. And this is a broad generalization. It's not applicable to everyone, right? It's like Terry Samuels has an entire crew of millennials working at his house. But they don't necessarily, they want the opportunity to have a little bit more freedom because they've seen people like me, the Gen Xers, like Terry, that busted their asses and just didn't necessarily have a lot of time for family. They tried their best, but when push comes to shove, family's awesome unless they're starving, and then they're a pain in the ass to live with, so I'm going to go work so I can feed the family. And millennials, I don't necessarily say it's a bad thing, but they kind of don't think that way, and I want to feed the family, but I'm going to do it on my terms, kind of thing. And that, I think that's why affiliates now in search are becoming such a big deal, because there's so many people looking at the affiliate space as a way to get away from their bosses, air quotes. So that market is filling up more, and the competition is filling up more, and the interest is filling up more, and businesses are embracing the affiliate stuff. Well, some of them are, and some of them are stepping back. But and so Google sees a good opportunity for growth here, where there's a limited opportunity for growth for them from search. I would argue that they're almost at the tipping point where search will be as monetized as they can do it, and they'll have to move on to other things and promote Google Cloud better and that kind of stuff. Let's see, 301 pretty link to affiliate site directly. Yeah, you can. I use 301s pretty much for all of my stuff, but most of the stuff that I'm promoting with short links or with pretty links on my website are to friends' products. So, or really good acquaintance products. Ted, Kyle, Mikhail, and then some phrase stuff and a couple other SEO tools. I think I got like 5 or 10 in there for the most part. And then my survival site, a little bit more. That it's gonna have some work, but that's even more. But like I said, 301s, I think are going to be pretty safe. In particular, if people are just looking at code, if they're going link by link and checking out all your affiliate links, then that they're paying a lot of money, and they're not going to do that at scale unless you are a big party or a big hitter in that niche, right? And then they'll delve into you a little bit deeper. At least that's what I would do if I was paying for manual reviewers. Let's see. All right. So yeah, again, comments, Facebook, YouTube, when you guys get a chance, think about it. Go over there and review all this information yourselves, and then let me know what you think. So let's get on with some other questions. Hey, I had a question about entities. I know what an entity is, but not sure how to use them for SEO. Oh, geez, Elton, that's a big question. So let me put this in an easier way. LSI. We all kind of know what LSI is, right? If I'm writing about a topic, these are the set of words that the math is expected to see inside of my content. And the more focused the page is about said topic, the more instances of certain amount of words will be in there. And that's LSI. Entities, persons, place, things, and events are super LSI. They're actually still in your LSI tools. If you go into, I can't remember, M topic was one, right? There's a bunch of other ones, but if you go into those, you'll see that the entities are there. They're in that list. They're in the old Quora reports. They're there. They just weren't called entities. They're called LSI. And what Google did was, we have this big collection of data, and we're trying to use math to figure out what a page is about, and we need something to make that a little bit easier. So if you know LSI is the amount of words or the typical amount of expected words, that library is pretty big. Now, if the entities, the typical amount of entities, person, place, things, and events that are supposed to be mentioned are typically mentioned in a piece of this content, that library actually got a little bit smaller. Well, actually a lot smaller. It's easier to process that. And that's where content editing using entities was born. And all the tools, and I think there's probably like 30 or 40 of these content editing tools now, all either plugged into IBM Watson, Google NLP, or TextRazor, which ironically is Google NLP. And analyzing top 10 to top 30 pieces of content, figuring out the super LSI, and saying you need to add these entities into your content because these are the ones that are mentioned the most in all these contents for this topic. That's, at the end of the day, that's what it is, and that's how you can leverage this for your stuff. On that, I'm currently using, if you guys seen the content optimization thing, I did cognitive SEO when I did that video. I have since told you guys I switched over to Surfer. I'm getting ready to test ClearScope again. I was one of the first people to use ClearScope when it came out, and it was like $300 something a month. But they lowered the pricing, so I'm gonna go test that out again and see how they do. With a ClearScope /InLinks combination. And the reason is, frankly, the only thing we use in Surfer is the content editor. So I pay all this money for a bunch of tools I don't use. When I could pay for tools specifically, right, specifically for it. You don't have to use a spork if you have a fork with you, and the fork is better. So, purpose design tool, is that where how it goes? That would work better. Okay, so you can get the content from the top results and use TextRaiser to extract entities and use them in your own content. You can. That's the original way that whole process was actually worked out. You don't even have to use TextRaiser. You can actually use the Google NLP API web page, and there's a test function, and it'll spit out the entities for you too. Be careful though, doing that. Just be cognizant of what you're doing, because if you use TextRaiser and you go in there one by one and get that download, and then you got to do the math to figure out the averages, or you can just eyeball it and say, old school with the highlighter, and here's this word. Oh, it's in this one, and this one, and this one, and kind of figure out the winners, right? And then shoehorn those in there. The trick is how many is enough. And if you run a TextRaiser versus a Quora, or a TextRaiser analysis like you say it versus a Quora analysis, that math might be a little bit different. Or even a Surfer versus TextRaiser versus Quora, where Surfer says you need all of these things, and you're going to grade, 75 to 100 is kind of where I aim at. I've stopped lower for sure if it doesn't make sense, but 75 to 100 is where I aim at in Surfer. But if I look at the list that Quora gives me, there's maybe 5 entities that I actually have to have in there. And the rest of them correlate pretty much useless. I haven't tested Quora's analysis of entities all on its own. But that's because I just, honestly, I think I like the phrase Surfer moving maybe to ClearScope InLinks process, because I get 3 different perspectives on it, and I can do it inside of a UI that allows me to edit my content. Versus Quora, I have to actually, I can insert those 5 as an example, but I don't necessarily know, do I need 5 in there, and do I say the 5 10 times, or you know what I mean? Is that really going to help me in the long run? And I've just never tested it. And so I like that Quora entities report. I just don't use it for content editing. But yeah, what Elton said is essentially what all those tools are doing. They're downloading the content off of the page, the text. They're running it against the API, TextRaiser, Google NLP, IBM Watson, and then they're doing the math and figuring out the averages and saying, these are the entities you need in there, and then we're going to give you the score based off of how many you use and how many instances of them you use. And you can see anyone who's used any of these tools, I talk about all of them a lot, but anyone who used any of them, you can manipulate them pretty well. And it's especially true with phrase, Surfer, and cognitive. You can manipulate them just by doing keyword insertions, and it doesn't really matter where you put them in there. Where it does matter is when you get to InLinks, because it's just a little bit better at actually figuring out context, expected words before and after, and that context is actually really important too. So when I'm doing my writing process, I'll write the article out, free form it, have no considerations about SEO whatsoever, other than I know here's my outline. And then I'll do the phrase, the Surfer, and by the time I get to InLinks, it's probably 95% there. And then I go over to Grammarly, and that's where I work on correctness and context, and that makes my content better, and I rank really well doing that with pretty much everything that I do. That's not bragging. It's just, honestly, I think it's a whole lot of luck and a little bit of practice. Just kind of knowing knowing niches and stuff like that, right? So I'm able to write a piece of content that I know will get me in at least page 2, and I can do a little bit of backlinking after that. All right. Any more questions? I've been rambling on. Again, the phone number is available if you want to call in. And that phone number is, there it is, 888-586-1680. 888-586-1680. And I have Skype, so if we're connected on Skype and you want to call on Skype, I can actually do that too. So that'd be good. Can you find the entities in Coralite or Coraful or both? The entities, actually, you can get them out of Coralite too, and the report is a little bit better. It's not as daunting as Cora. As a matter of fact, let me just show you. What the hell? I got nothing else to do. That's a lie. I got to mow my lawn. It rained here. We got 2021's rain this weekend. This is a page. Oh, that's Cora. Well, I'll show you Cora's too. What the hell? I'll show you Cora and Coralite. Let me find the Coralite folder. There's T. I've shared all this stuff before, so I'm not stressing it. Let's see. IMAX screen. Cora wants to be first. This is Cora. If you guys have never seen Cora, you look at these things and you get a little intimidated. Here's the original spreadsheet. If you get used to using this stuff and you actually hand this off to someone that's applying for a job who tells you that they're an SEO expert, hand them this and see what kind of questions you get back. That'll do your interview for you and filter out 99% of the junk in like 10 minutes. Basic tunings, this is mainly on-page stuff, and then you get the intermediate tunings, still a little bit on-page stuff, and some, I use the idea that it's some EAT stuff, but it's kind of, EAT is what it is, and then off-page is actually what that is off-page. But there is a tab right here. It says entities. This is a good example. Let me zoom in. Boom. Stupid. 150. So there's a good example for this keyword. This report is actually for, what the hell's the term? SEO consultant. That's the term. And if you look, if you have the math, the correlations, I only have to do these. I got to put Jordan, probably not going to do that. Company would be in there. Frequently asked questions. Insurance, it's kind of weird. Understanding it's in optimization. So common sense will tell me that I'm probably going to use this. I'm probably going to use this. I'm probably going to use this, and I'm probably going to use this. I'm not going to use insurance. That doesn't make any sense, and I'm not going to do Jordan. It's a country. So what So it's math. When you're in this case, you're using. You're getting this return off of the top 100 results. Great information, not necessarily useful. And then he's got another feature inside of there. Damn it, I should have opened. Where is it? Hold on. So you guys can't see my porn collection. Let's see. There we go. Another feature, and this is actually really cool. If you bear with me here a little bit, but you got variations, anchor text videos, LSI, and this is kind of where you can see the entity stuff. Quit it, clown. Let's see. Accounts, AdWords, that's an entity. Android is an entity. Brandy, that could be an entity depending on if you're talking about browser is an entity. So remember I was saying that LSI is just, and entities are pretty much the same thing. Entities are just super LSI. Well, that's where you got. Now, as I was saying, this, if you wanted to, if you wanted to build a nice link network and some data sets that you can keep and use over and over again at the same time, you can take this HTML file that it spits out and put a footer link to your agency, just your brand name, because that's safe. Data correlated by, and then you put your agency name in there, and you can create a whole bunch of these, and it's all a bunch of information highly related to your particular keyword. I would actually just change this up a little bit and just put my keyword in the top of here too. So instead of the heading being just variations, it would be keyword variations. The same with all this stuff, and you just build that in. And once you get a nice system going, you have essentially you're doubling down. This software is not cheap, right? So if you buy it through my affiliate link, you save like $25. Otherwise, it's $250. So you might as well maximize it for everything you got. So you can use a link building tool, and an analysis tool, and a research tool, and a writing tool, all in one. Okay, and then you have Cora Lite, which is, and here's the entity stuff like that. This is a different keyword, but you can see this makes it a little bit easier. Digital marketing is kind of expected to be in there. It's in there 7 times, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's compared to your competition. And you can know, you can see the rest of this stuff here too. You can actually do link building with this. I talked to Ted, but what I need to do is figure out how to strip these out. I don't want to link to all of them. I'll mention it. That's fine. The URL thing, that's fine. Maybe I could put some sponsored or something like that and just say that they're out buying a bunch of sponsored ad links or whatever. And these are all links to you. I want to be able to shut all that stuff off. But this, you can build. I build all kinds of. I use these for audits. I use these for in social media when people are asking questions about their pages. I'll actually run into Cora Lite and run a report for them, and just kind of go over it and say this is what I would do, and that actually works like gangbusters. People actually appreciate taking the time, and they can see the report, and there's not a whole lot of yeah, but if, you know what I mean? Like when you're helping someone out in social media, they tell you, they ask this question and then they play 40 questions with you because they thought they know the right answer already, and they didn't really need you. They wanted you to validate their answer. Now this eliminates it. Here's another example. I actually customized this one. You can see, got my pretty little face, talks about all this stuff, where you can get the report and the keyword and the site that it's bounced off for and that it's relevant to. And I did this for someone. You can see it's actually pretty cool, and it's really actionable stuff, and it's stuff that at the end of the day you can probably outsource easily. And the Cora Lite version comes when you pay the full prescription or subscription for Cora, or you can buy it individually. I think it's like half the price. Now it became a Cora commercial. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you straight up. If Surfer, Page Optimizer Pro, and all those other tools all went tits up right now, it wouldn't hurt my feelings one bit. I use Cora almost exclusively for my on-page optimization. I don't even mess with those other tools. Page Optimizer Pro, I was using that for my basic stuff, because that's easy to give to a VA, especially the spreadsheet, and say, hey, create these H tags and stuff. But with my writing process, I eliminated the need for that and for them to worry about it. And by doing that, I almost come out right where I have to be inside of Cora in regards to my header tags and my keyword usage and stuff like that inside of the header tags. So I don't need Page Optimizer Pro, and I don't need Surfer, where that's all guessing when you get into that site audit. They have this template thing that they use, and you click on audit, and it has these list of things that everyone has. But what about the rest of the data, right? And it's in the tool, and you got to click it around, but there's no sorting based off of priority and stuff. And Cora Lite give me that. So honestly, if you want to save yourselves a whole bunch of money, find yourself a good content editor tool set. And looks like it might be ClearScope and InLinks together. I got to test it before I say that. And then have a nice on-page tool. And the on-page tool could be, I would say, use Cora Lite is the standard right now. And if you want an on-page and off-page tool to analyze the correlation with your links and all that stuff, then full bore Cora you're going to need. Pop also has a score to work towards her. Yeah, Pop is actually Pop was born out of Cora. So Cora reports are complicated. I helped Ted. He dumbed them down with the highlighting in the that original overview tab, and then Kyle actually had a spreadsheet that he was importing, the H tags and things that he determined to be the most important, and out of Cora reports. And from that spreadsheet and the work that he did with that, that's where Page Optimizer Pros came from. And Surfer came right after Cora too, and they try, they're doing their best, and they created a great product. I pay for it, but at the end of the day, if I had to pick a tool, it would be Cora, and the new version 6 that everyone will be getting hopefully soon. I'm beta testing it, a bunch of other people, but we can actually optimize for Bing now, which is awesome. I can ignore the Google correlation factors, optimize for Bing, and see where I land in Google. And it might be different, or it might make it easier. We'll see how that works out. But if you can, everyone says they rank in Bing easily by doing optimizing for Google, and I call bullshit. Everyone complains that there's less traffic over there. You don't pay any attention to it. How the hell would you really know? And two, if I optimize for Google and I rank for Bing on its own, then it wouldn't be naturally conducive that if I rank for or optimize for Bing, that I would rank for Google. So we'll see how that all works out. But I'm looking for it. I'm a big promoter of Bing because it's easier traffic, less competition over there, and if the correlation stuff based off of the Bing search results works like I expect it to, it'll be some easy grabs and a good way to get easy wins for your client base. And especially when you're dealing with a high competition market like what Google provides us. Okay. Any other questions? I think I rambled on. Wow, you guys made me ramble on. I did all by myself. You guys, I blame all of you. No phone calls today. That's all right. You're all shy. But don't worry. I'll be here. 888-586-1680. You can call in until the show's over, or just write it down for the next time. Also on Skype, you can reach me there, and I'll answer via the phone on my, and we can talk that way. That's clint.a.butler. You reach me on Skype. I was going to use Discord, but Skype's got a call feature, so why install another app? Too cheap and lazy. I paid for the premium on Discord, by the way. Did you ever use your Market Muse subscription in your mix? I mixed on it for results, but overhauling my process. I just, honestly, there's the credit system that irritates me to no end. So it's a great outline builder over at Market Muse. But the content stuff, not even interested. I'm not going to pay. I think it worked out to $100 a keyword is what those credits are. I'm not doing that. I'm not retarded. And I don't even know why AppSumo will let them get away with that. I mean, AppSumo is what it is, right? So we're all a bunch of cheap bastards who want lifetime deals, and we expect you to fulfill and pay attention to that software till the end of time. But $100 a keyword, I mean, who really wants to pay that if they're a small agency? You're a big agency or you're a big brand marketing office, and sure, you're using the boss's credit card, you could give two craps less, right? But little guys are not paying $100 a keyword. They're not doing it, and I'm not going to do that. So I used the ones that I got. Wasn't all that impressed with it. Hate the UI. Hate fighting with it. But the outline builder is kind of cool. That made it. So I'll just kind of leverage that. I've been testing using those core reports I showed you, and creating the outline and then populating the content in between that lead set of information and the way the tables are, and just dropping it in there as an example outline. And that kind of stuff is actually kind of cool. So, I paid for the lifetime. I might as well use those outline things, right? And so that works for sure. I think I would actually also give that to people. Like, I wanted them to know the outlines and stuff, but I don't want them messing in my Phrase account because I use a lot of stuff in Phrase. I think Market Muse would be good, especially if I'm outsourcing writing outlines. Use Market Muse for them to do that. At the end of the day, they're all the same damn thing. They scrape the internet and they look at the top whatever, and then they say, here's your outline. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, Brian, I compete and optimize now. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Alrighty. I don't see any other questions. No other calls. I appreciate all you guys. Thanks for coming. I know that your time is valuable, and hopefully I've given you a bunch to think about. Let's see. Oh, there's Christopher jumping in. I'm enjoying Surfer SEO, but it struggles with product category pages. Very difficult to replicate 50 H2 tags. In that regard, you're going to see that with all the tools, right? And where Quora was synonymous was in local business, because that's where I was living and breathing, was local. I was doing all kinds of local clients. And Home Advisor, Angie's List, Yelp, Super Pages, all those would screw up the correlations and create that issue where you have those multiple tags. You specifically got to go in there and tell it to ignore those websites. I'm not sure if Surfer has that function. Again, I only use the content editors these days, so they could have added it or they didn't. I'm not entirely sure. But I'm pretty sure you can mess around with the sites that they're creating the recommendations from. Do that. Otherwise, just apply common sense. If you see that a whole lot and it's over and over and over again, and you end up analyzing like 3 or 4 pages because you got all those directories, you might want to just create a directory. But I think Google's kind of caught on to that thing too, especially in rehab. The directories are disappearing. The big ones are there. Rehabs.com and a bunch of other ones are still there. The big ones are there, but I've noticed all the little ones, those are kind of dying the way of the dodo from that last update. Let's see. Do you have any way to check if a list of URLs are indexed? Would you do a cache query, and then what do you use to get them indexed? Depends on if it's if it's a money site. That's the only reason that you would actually mess with the Search Console. Search Console is a flat up dog liar. You can do using Search Console, put your URL in the inspection tool and say it's not there. Go to Google, search for your URL in quotes, and it'll be there in the index. And the vice of that is also true. So I don't put a lot of faith in the indexing report of Search Console. More often than not, they match, but there are significant enough instances of what I just described happening that it's not something you want to trust. If you're talking about a list of URLs, URL Profiler is probably your best bet. You can use Scrapebox to, at the end of the day, all you're doing is mass searching for the URL to see if it's in there. And that's if you define index the way I define index. And what Ted defines indexed is if it's ranking for a keyword, the keyword it's optimized for, then it's indexed, regardless if you search for the URL or not. Silly man. But I just look exactly for the URL. It's the easiest one, and you can actually do more of those searches without proxies. because you're not using booleans like site and all in title and in URL and that kind of stuff to find out if they're there. That's also built into Rank Tracker from SEO Power Suite, if I'm not mistaken. I know they check for indexing at some point because I end up shutting it off because I don't need it. I like on my money sites, I know the primary keywords I'm looking at, and I have rank tracking for those, and if they disappear, then I'll go look for that particular page. I don't typically worry about checking all of them all the time and see if they're indexed. I just monitor it and find that if it hits the top 100 and it's staying in there, then I know that it's indexed, right? And that's kind of the poor man's way to do it. You let your rank tracker do your work for you. And if you're optimizing the content well enough, you're going to be in the top 100. Unless you're like in a stupid hard niche like yoga pants or something like that. And you might need some backlinks to do it. All right. Cool. Right at an hour. I got a pulled pork cooking in my Traeger. It's been in there for 4, 5, 6 hours, 7 hours. Got 2 more hours to go. So I got to go watch chips. That's going to be make sure that they don't run out. Because I'm optimize some content today. I am getting ready to start the Over the Shoulder series for my on-page course that I've told you guys like forever that I'm making. I need to do some work on my survival site, so we're going to get that all fixed up. I'm not going to release that site to the public, so if you want to get the course, you have to go to SIA or What Ranks when I release it at What Ranks, but it's releasing as I do it inside of SIA, and you get test results and a whole bunch of other stuff as a membership over there, so it's actually a much better spend to join SIA. And then I have also got to do videos for Rank Gear, the schema tool. If you don't know, go to rankgear.com. You sign up. It's a little over $50 with taxes. And if I had to compare it to anything, I'd say Schema app is what we're going for. They set the bar in schema tools, so we're trying to meet the bar that they set. With that, you can go in there, write your own schema. We have a form. You can just essentially fill out a form and it writes schema for you. You would be better off knowing a little bit about how to troubleshoot schema. But if you're brand new to schema and you're still relying on those plugins, just know that people who are legitimately handwriting schema are kicking your butt in the SERPs because you're leveraging the same thing that everyone else and their brother does. And if the standard is Rank Math, SEO Press Pro, Yoast, SEO Ultimate, all-in-one SEO, and that standard is the same across the board, guess what? The guy that's out here that's above the standard using handcrafted SEO or a schema is going to win. And Rank Math will, or rankgear.com will allow you to write that. We have a function now, just released that a little while ago, where you can save your schema. And so you can write templates or blueprints or whatever the hell you want to call them. So you write out your organization schema, save it as your organization, write out your local business schema, save it as your organization or local business, et cetera, and then go in there and use Rob, the course I paid $4.97 to learn how to use Ad ID, Rob Beal's course. You can use that and fulfill that, his model or his idea behind schema. Everyone's ideas behind schema are great ideas at this point. So Rob Beal's got that course showing you how to use Ad ID. One of the good things I got out of his course is actually he mentioned in one of his videos mirroring the site using schema. So we're kind of figuring that out. I've written some templates now for what ranks that are doing that in a much better and more concise way than I think the piecemeal blueprint concept would do. And I'm trying to mirror those in Rank Gear for everybody, just because it's a little bit more complicated and it's harder to code a piece of content that says this is a web page that is a part of this website that has this part, and it's just an article, and this article talks about this product or service. So getting that code down is kind of a pain in the ass, but we're almost there with Rank Gear. It's well, not necessarily almost there, but I think we've pretty much done everything that we can do to get you guys in there and be dangerous with schema, and then the rest of it will be adapting to your use cases. And from there, once we've done the marketing and got the money back from our investment in that, we're going to turn around and probably do. My business partner is actually a business intelligence guy himself, and he develops apps and that kind of stuff too. We're probably going to do a content editor or an anchor text analysis. I haven't decided which way we want to lean. I know right now he's working on his own personal project where he's trying to create an online version of a creative Quora, which would be interesting to see if he pulls that off. But I got to get him his money back for making Rank Gear. I invested. You guys remember my thing? I $17,000 trying to make the anchor text tool, and then some more money trying another piece of software. And Muhammad, he took pity on me, and he foot the bill for Rank Gear and the schema thing, because he knew the developers and he knew how to do the dev project management and all that stuff. And that was all things that I was learning on the job, and it was costing me a whole lot of money. He took pity on me. So we're going to get all his money back and then build out Rank Gear to be actually a nice, cool set of tools. And that's the plan with that. It'd be pretty cool. If you want to, you can follow that whole process on. Once I'm done with the videos, I'm going to do a nice product write-up. We're going to put it on a product hunt. If we get enough traction over there, we're going to reach out to the AppSumo guys and probably do a lifetime thing. I've already talked to Muhammad about that. Do a lifetime thing at AppSumo. That'll get his money back. That's the only, and then we'll run that for a limited time, i.e. maybe a month, if that, to get him his money back, which is what I think lifetime deals should be used for. It should be to get your developer money back so you can actually put yourself in a position of break even, and then worry about getting your recurring subscribers from that point. And that's kind of the path we're going to follow. So if you want to see that as it grows, watch this channel. This is where all the Rank Gear tutorial stuff is going to be. And then I'll announce on here, just ask me any questions and for updates and stuff, and see where we're going. And you can kind of learn as you go if you've ever wanted to mess around with the SaaS market. And with that, I thank all of you guys and gals for watching. This has been SEO This Week, episode 212. Hopefully YouTube records it this time, and I'll see you next week.